morning, class.
Good morning, Mom.
So today, we're going to look at a group of words that we call quantifiers, like many, much, little, few, a little, and a few. We call them quantifiers because they are added before the noun to give an indication of the quantity of that noun. Is it a big quantity, a certain amount, or a small quantity? Now, in most languages, there is usually just one word to indicate a big quantity, a certain amount, or a small quantity. But in English, there are several words for each idea. For large quantity, sometimes you have to use many. Sometimes you have to use much. For a small quantity, sometimes you have to use few, and sometimes you have to use little. We also have a little and a few. So it can get quite tricky sometimes and confusing. In this lesson, I will going to clarify the usage of these different quantifiers. By the end of the lesson, you will be able to determine when and how to use these quantifiers. Let's start first with these quantifiers. Much, little, and a little. These are used before uncountable nouns. Then, what is an uncountable noun? Uncountable noun is a noun that you cannot add a number to, or simply a noun that you cannot count. For example, you can say one book, two books, but you cannot say one rice or two rice. Rice doesn't take a plural. Therefore, rice is an uncountable noun. Then, much. Much means a large quantity of something uncountable. And then, little. Little means a small quantity of something that you cannot count. Then, a little. A little is in between the two. It is not much, not little. Therefore, it is a certain quantity of something that you cannot count. For example, let us take a look at these sentences. Number 1, will you please read?
Do you eat much rice?
Repeat.
Do you eat much rice?
Okay, so since rice is an uncountable noun, we use much. Same with number 2. No, I don't eat much rice. I eat very little rice. Number 3, will you please read?
I ate a little rice last night.
Okay, so let us move on to the quantifiers many, few, a few. These quantifiers are used before a countable noun. Then, what is a countable noun? A countable noun is something that you can count or you can add a number to. For example, one book, two books. But you have to be careful because not all countable nouns take the plural form s. There are also irregular nouns. Like, for example, the plural form of person is people. One person, two people. And then the plural form of child is children. One child, two children. Many. Many means a large quantity of something that you can count. And then few is a small number of something that you can count. And then a few is in between the two. Not many and not few. Meaning, a certain quantity of something that you can count. For example, will you please read number 1?
Do you know many people here?
Since people is an example of countable noun, we use the quantifier many. Number 2.
No, I don't know many people. I know very few people here.
And number 3.
I know a few people in the town where I lived before.
I knew a few people in the town where I lived before. Okay, it's very hard to hear the difference between the first part and the second part. So that is why we often use the word very. Okay, so let us move on to then next. Point 3. If you want to make an uncountable noun countable, you should use an appropriate unit of measure. For example, much milk to many glasses of milk, and then much equipment to many pieces of equipment, and then much bread to many slices of bread. Okay, so let us move on to gut feeling exercises. Will you please read the directions?
Complete the sentences using the appropriate quantifiers.
Okay, number 1. Will you please read?
Do you drink blank coffee?
What do you think is the answer? Okay, so the answer is, do you drink much coffee? Because coffee is an example of uncountable noun. So we're going to use much. And then, how about the second one?
No, I don't drink much coffee.
Very good. Number 2. The engine needs blank oil. What do you think is the answer? Okay, so the answer is a little. We use a little because we need a certain quantity or certain amount of oil. And then number 3, will you please read?
Would you like blank milk on your coffee?
Milk.
Milk.
So the answer for number 3 is a little because it also needs a certain amount. Would you like a little milk on your coffee? How about number 4? Will you please read?
I love you so much.
Of course, I love you too. And then number 5. Will you please?
There are blank things to do today.
What do you think is the answer? The answer is many. There are many things to do today because things is an example of countable noun. So we're going to use many. Number 6.
Blank Italian wine is sold abroad.
What do you think is the answer? The answer is much. Since Italian wine is an example of uncountable noun. So we have to use much. And number 7. Read.
We need blank coins for the car park.
What do you think is the answer? What's your answer? Okay, so the answer is we need a few coins for the car park. Number 8.
How many petrol shall I buy?
Many? Is that your answer?
Much.
Okay, how much petrol shall I buy? Very good. How about number 9?
How blank are those clothes?
Gloves.
Gloves.
What's your answer? What's your answer? The answer is much. Number 10.
How blank bread does he eat?
What's the answer?
Much.
Very good. Okay, class, from today's discussion, what have you learned?
Ma'am, I learned about different quantifiers and their usage.
Very good. Good, class. So that's the end of our discussion. You may go out. Thank you.